What's going on, everybody? This is part 2 to the Ace of Spades by Motorhead. In part 1 we covered the... I left that in the description box below. So for this one we're going to be using mostly electric if you got it. If not, you could probably do this on acoustic. So grab your acoustic or your electric and let's get started. Okay guys, for this one it's all about that bend right there. So we're going to be in E flat. I'll leave that in the description box below for the tuning. But don't get confused with the serpent on my guitar. This is fret 3, 5, this little hump is 7, this little coil is 9. This one right here is 12. I'm going to be on 12 and 14. Okay, 12 and 14. That's pretty much all we're doing here. Okay, so 12, 14. We're going to be on string 3 with the ring, string 2 with our pinky. Okay, so when I play this, the idea, we're going to be going up about a whole step when we do this bend with these two fingers. So the idea, how do you do bends, is you got to have the right sound in your head of what you're bending to. So if I can mimic that by sliding into it, I can start to learn where to gauge how high my bends go. Okay, so when I bend, I'm bending into these notes. Now, for this song, it doesn't really matter if you're a little flat or a little sharp on those bends. It's a rough sounding, rugged riff, you know? So don't be so hard on yourself if you can't get that bend perfect. But that's where you're aiming towards, is this. See how I'm not hitting them perfect? I'm kind of between them. That's okay. So now, with this riff though, you want to understand how do you get these bends also is where it comes from on the finger. You're not pushing too much with just your finger per se. You're using more of your knuckles and pushing up as a whole. And notice how I'm going to be using almost all my fingers to kind of generate that bend. I'm using obviously these two for the bending part on string 3 and 2 on fret 14. 14, 14 by the way. But I'm also using my thumb. I'm pushing downward that way with my thumb while I'm pushing upward from my knuckles. I'm not pushing from my pinkies or my ring finger. I'm using the fin part, if you were to think of this as a fin, here. And I'm also using these to help push with it, not by touching strings, but just naturally they're all connected in the hand. So when I push, I'm squeezing up downward while I'm pushing upward, like this. But do you see how it's coming from my knuckles? That's what's most important. If not, I mean, where are you going to get being stable from, you know? Stability, if you will. So keep that in mind. That's going to be the proper technique to work on first before you do anything else. So get the right sound of where you're bending into. And also placement of how you're using your hand, of how you're doing these bends, okay? Once again, fret 14, string 3 and 2, ring and pinky. So when I do that riff, you're going to go up first, whole step. Now, you're going to let the string tension come down. And right when it does, you pluck on neutral ground, no bending. But you add a little bit of vibrato. Now, vibrato is when you just kind of bounce the string up and down. It's the opposite of when you're pushing up with the fin. Now you're just pulling from here a little down and you're letting it go to neutral. Okay, I'm not going to go too much into vibrato today, but that's the trick. So when I go up, third note right here now is going to be a bar on first finger. This is now fret 12, guys. String still 3 and 2. Fret 12, 3 and 2. And I'm going to be plucking them nice and blended evenly. You could give it a little vibrato as there. Once again, vibrato is going to be coming from here. And notice where my thumb transitioned into when I went from here. You can leave it a little higher. That's okay too. But first 3 notes. Bend, neutral, half bar. 14, 14, 12. Now, once you get that far, you can one or the other. 14, 14 with 2 fingers, Or in this case, I'm doing 14-14 with the half bar. Just like you did a half bar on 12, now you're going to do half bar 14. Still same strings, 3 and 2. That's all we've been doing. And now, back to 12 for a half bar again. Third string, second string. So that's the first half. Little vibrato there as well, okay? Now, I add a palm mute. I believe it's in the song. If it's not, there's a phrase where you just kind of hold it. Like that instead. One or the other. Pick one. It's not a big deal. But I like to add that palm mute in there. I'm just palm muting with the 6th string. If you don't know what a palm mute is, you're taking the side of your hand or the side of your palm. You're touching down where the mute is, would be where you get the highest tension. So I start over here. I just put my hand on there. I plug it to where I find that nice palm mute is, and it's usually right before you hit that saddle. So it's at the back of the guitar, and it's right before you fall off to where you can't play on anymore. So once again, you'll know when you find it because you get that nice do 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 do. That's why I'm starting over here so you can hear how it sounds not right to right. Nothing with my left hand. And it just gets a nice hum out of it, okay? You don't have to press hard. You're just touching lightly with the palm. Get that nice sound. So. Okay. Now, after you palm, this is all downstrums, by the way. Then you're going to go back into this riff, into that, with the bend. Sorry, I just had to get it right in my head. So, up to the palm. Now, you already know these notes, so I'm going to rush through them. Bend on like the original one, 14 bend. Bend up, bring it down, neutral pluck. 12-12 half bar. So let me get caught up to there because we only have, I think, one note after that. So, beginning. Palm. That's where we're at. One more time. Beginning. Palm. Now, last note. 14 string 4. 14 string 4 ring finger. You're going to slide, pluck it, slide. Now this slide, it's kind of a long slide if I remember correctly. Yeah, so it doesn't matter where you stop at a slide because it's about how you phrase a slide, okay? In this case, let's say it this way. If I were to put it too fast of a slide, it doesn't sound right. If I put it too slow, it doesn't sound right. So really, you just have to learn how to get timing down with slides. Slides is something unique as far as like how does a phrase go, not how long or where do I stop. It's just a new. So you're gonna practice just doing that. Getting the nice placement and keeping your finger down when you slide it. So when I put this all together, and you want to just practice that back half after the palm mute. So if I were to add the palm mute, that's probably good. So I would start off with the slide, get comfortable with that, the phrase of it. Then I'd add just the back half of the riff. Now, let's put it all together and then we'll wrap it up. So, the whole riff. One more time. Alright, let's see if I can knock out a slow, a medium, and fast. Slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Medium. Remember, you can always replay these. Medium. 1, 2, 3, 4. And and fast. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright guys, that is it for this guitar lesson video. Remember, part 1 is going to be in the description box below. And if you need help with guitar or piano, I teach both online through video chat. You can find more about that at mountainsideguitar.com. Thank you for watching, and I'll get to you on the next guitar lesson video.